So, with just one trailer, people think that we don't have much to talk about. We actually have plenty. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, a game that's still very fresh in a lot of people's minds, is getting a sequel, a direct sequel that was announced this year at E3. So far we only have one trailer and a couple of pieces of information. From that, me and a lot of people within the Zelda community were able to make a ton of Zelda content up until now. And going forward, when we're waiting for the next trailer or the next information drop, hopefully at the Game Awards, we still have plenty, and I mean plenty, to talk about. But there are a lot of people out there that seem to not get that. It's a common comment that I see a lot on videos, my own and other people within the Zelda community. How we only have one trailer, yet we're making a ton of videos off that one trailer. And apparently there's not much to talk about according to those comments. But I really wanted to put this video out there because when you put a lot of things into context, we actually have tons to talk about, thanks to everything attributed to the fact that this game, the next Zelda game, Zelda 20, is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Or that's what we're calling it now. Remember the Zelda Wii U days? That was wild. What's up guys, HMK here once again with another Zelda video. Once again, for the safety of hype, I'm going to ask you to strap on in. This is going to be another wild ride. When I mean wild, I mean Breath of the Wild. Now this video isn't a response to one specific person. Like I said before, it's a very common comment, and I just want to address this in a very enlightening and big conversation starter type video. I've been getting into the groove of that when it comes to Zelda. But a lot of people think that we have nothing to talk about because we only have one trailer, which dated back all the way to E3, which is a good amount of months ago. And you know, it's almost like yesterday that we got the confirmation that Breath of the Wild 2 is happening, baby. And I still have plenty to talk about. Even though a lot of people are like, oh, but it's just one trailer. How do we have to talk about? We have to combine the fact that this trailer is new. This trailer is the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Once all that context is put together, we have plenty to talk about. Let me break it down for you. As a little bit of a primer, I want to track back to the days of Zelda Wii U. Remember those dark ages when we used to call that anticipating the original Breath of the Wild? Man, oh man, 2015 was drier than the Gerudo Desert for us. Yet we were still able to make content on what we think this game is going to go in a specific direction. And with all new games, not just Zelda, when we have that little piece of trailer information, something that we can, pull apart and put together in a malleable sense, especially when we take what we've known for a series, The Legend of Zelda, and try to apply it to the future of the series. We tried so hard to make sense of Zelda Wii U, where it was going to be, where it was going to go, what timeline could be, all that good jazz. And then up until Breath of the Wild starts shaping its own identity after the big trailer drop announcement in 2016, then things got really rolling. Before that, we had only so much to play around with, yet we were able to make tons of content. Sure, there are times where a lot of us were pushing the boundaries of what we can perceive Zelda Wii U as back in the day. However, with Breath of the Wild 2, with this new journey into the madness of the unknown when it comes to The Legend of Zelda, it's not as unknown as you would think, because this game is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, one of the biggest, bestest Zelda games in recent memory, and games in general. And the fact that it's a sequel to this game that exists, that is very fresh in our minds, we can use the original game as a base, as a huge playground of ideas to figure out where we can go when it comes to a sequel. We already have that huge pre-existing information, and when we take that information and apply it to the sequel, of course we're going to have a lot of ideas, a lot of content, a lot of theories and speculation on what the sequel could offer us as Zelda fans in relation to the first game. This is why we talk. We tried to make sense of what we saw in Breath of the Wild 2 and think about all the possibilities of the unknown. And the unknown isn't as unknown as past Zelda games, thanks to the fact that this is the most direct of all sequels when we're talking about Zelda. By taking what we know already for Breath of the Wild 1 and incorporate that into the second game, and not only just Breath of the Wild 1, but past Zelda games in general, from what we know, what we've seen, how we see certain characters, certain items, Master Sword, Link, Zelda, the missing parts of the Triforce, Hyrule in general, the Sheikah. From what we've known in the past, even beyond Breath of the Wild, we can take those elements and create theories, speculation, content on what we know, since we know that this is Breath of the Wild 2. It's not really what we saw in the trailer, but just the fact that this is a sequel to a game that we already know. And when we talk about the past is really catching up with us in Breath of the Wild 2, because for the first time in years, more than a decade, we will see the return of the King of Evil, the Dark Lord, the fallen Gerudo monarch. Ganondorf himself is returning in a very scary and big way in Breath of the Wild 2. Sure, we've known him, Ganon, enemies time and time again, but Ganondorf? The last time we saw him was in Twilight Princess, and the fact that he's returning is a gigantic deal for the Zelda community and for content-wise when we put that missing piece of the puzzle in the Breath of the Wild games. All we had was Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild 1. In Breath of the Wild 2, we're finally gonna see his human side. From what we know about Ganondorf in the past games, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, The Wind Waker, we can take that and try to formulate what direction Nintendo is going to take this beloved character next in what could be the latest and greatest Zelda game. And from all of us here in the Zelda community, when it comes to the YouTube and Twitch communities, we've seen a gigantic rise in content creators thanks to Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild 2 multiply that 10 times over. We all have thoughts, we all have theories, speculation, all creating together, learning from one another, collaborating. Breath of the Wild 2 is the spark that helped rekindle that passion for Zelda games. Of course, we got Link's Awakening and Triforce Heroes and stuff, but Breath of the Wild did huge things for the Legend of Zelda community. And Breath of the Wild 2 is only continuing that huge snowball effect. And you know, since the Game Awards is right around the corner, we might just get more information on Breath of the Wild 2, because Breath of the Wild has a huge home in that sense. And if Nintendo is going to repeat what we saw in history, like we're trying to figure out with Zelda's history for Breath of the Wild 2, then we might get another explosion of information that not only will supplement what we are already speculating and creating, but it will also give us new paths to diverge and new areas to explore when it comes to the lore, the gameplay, and what we can expect from the overall package. It's not just about the trailer, the fact that we only have one trailer and a handful of information coming out of E3. It's about that trailer and how it relates to the past and how we can use it to talk about the present going into the future of The Legend of Zelda. Thanks to that application of information, there is no shortage of ideas when we're talking about what could happen in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. And thanks to all the context that already exists, it's not like we're wildly, get it? It's not like we're wildly taking ideas and throwing them all sorts of ways. Every time we speculate, every time we create content, every time we have a theory, we always have to have some underlying backing information from something of the past in order to think about what could be the future. And that is something I really wanted to get off my chest when it comes to talking about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 and why we make content on that. Even though we only have one trailer, it's all of that accompanying information thanks to the past game and the games that came before that, how we're gonna think about what Breath of the Wild 2 could be and could mean for the Zelda series. I hope you guys are sticking around for the ride. There's plenty of you, and thank you so much for coming around this journey once again with HMK and everyone within the Zelda community. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below, and let me know what you think about this thought process when it comes to creating content on Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 with just one trailer. It's gonna change very soon when we get another trailer, hopefully at the Game Awards. Please like, share, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK for more Zelda content. I post videos every week. Big thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping making this video happen. If you want to find out how you can support HMK for just $1 a month, check out my Patreon. So guys, into the next Zelda content, this has been HMK. I'll check you guys later.